some of what companies are doing is part of a dance, maybe, to try to avoid something worse happening in the future. But I want to point out one other factor that I think is understudied, but it is probably part of the story too. And it has to do with the makeup of large companies and what different people in these companies do. Let me start with a story that seems like it's often a tangent, but then I'll bring it back to the question. I remember talking to the great Murray Rothbard many years ago about the book publishing industry. The issue was, why are large commercial publishers, which are for-profit companies trying to make profits, trying to create value for their shareholders, why do they publish so many goofy, weird, left-wing books? Why is there so much garbage being produced by for-profit commercial publishers? Why do they seem to have a left-wing bias? And you have a few specialized so-called right-wing publishers, Henry Regnery or whatever, but why are the mainstream publishers so left-wing? And Murray Rothbard's answer was, he said, well, if you think about how the book publishing industry works, lots of books are published every year by the big Random House and so forth. Hardly any of them make money. There's a very sort of a skewed distribution, or what the Wired writer Chris Anderson popularized as the long tail. So in other words, you have a few Harry Potter books come out. You have Malcolm Gladwell books that sell millions of copies and they make a lot of money for the publishing company, but the vast majority of the books don't make any money. So what the executives of publishing companies say to their editors is, look, just if you produce 1 or 2 home runs per year, I don't care about the rest of the stuff you publish. So the top executives, they may have just sort of that same political views as the average American, but the editors, who are the ones who actually choose the book titles, they tend to be very progressive. Progressive people tend to select into that industry for reasons that we can talk about. And so the senior executives don't care that the editors are producing a bunch of weird, commie stuff. As long as you give me 1 or 2 Malcolm Gladwell books and 1 or 2 J.K. Rowling books, I don't care what you do. It gives you cover.